Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What is centrality? What does centrality stabilize? So I have a bunch of derivation steps, but I'm going to start with the big results. We were coming to a conclusion, I think. I said I was done saying that, but again, we are going to run out of definitions. Definitions are definite. What is centrality is well defined. We've introduced this conceptualization, and so we're going to start with the big results or linguistic reduction, and then go to the derivation steps that I did yesterday and earlier today. And so, right, centrality, sound is this irreducibility. We have syllability, the unit of the sound that has this physical limitation. But overall and in general, we put shapes, letters to represent sounds. So if you've noticed, I've not put any letters on the screen currently because we've made this differentiation between this concept. What is centrality? The overall general form of sensation, censorship, sense. And we've said there's a difference. Inanimate objects, which I'm pretty sure is a redundancy. Objects are inanimate, so you don't need to say it twice. But I keep doing it. But filtration done by inanimate objects as opposed to choice. I'm Brad, I'm a sentient being, I can go choose things. That is censorship with an S. When my microwave reheats my microwave dinner, that should be a censor with a C. And then we've proven this spelling that any word that ends in an OR, and you put ality at the end of any word, it generalizes it. This final reduction proves that. We've already proven it in speciality, but it's extremely natural. Anyone in conversation, if you're generalizing a concept, you put ality at the end. And so if you have a word that ends in OR and you put ality, you produce the word orality. If you have ER, you produce orality, which is not a word. The other reduction we went through was ment, M-E-N-T, and then you put ality, you get mentality. And then mentality and orality are words exclusive to sentience, right? A rock does not have mentality. A tree is not, well, tree is still sentient, but a different rock is not oral, right? It's not going to give a speech, and so it has no mouth. But we have these two, so we have this concept, what is centrality? We have this linguistic evidence, right? Censorship with a C, right? My microwave is a censor, C-E-N-S-E-R. And I am a censor, S-E-N-S-O-R. But we can directly complete centrality with a C. And so pointing out culturally, right, when you go on Piers Morgan uncensored, the C does not pair to the O. And so that's directly wrong, but people wouldn't, if you just approach somebody on the street, they would have no context for that. But censor with a C is correctly spelled C-E-N-S-E-R. Then you generalize it, centrality. We have a direct iteration of censoring, C-E-N-S-E-R-I-N-G, right? And it's chronological, and it's a direct iteration, not just changing one letter to another letter, but a direct sequential structure from the alphabet, right? L-M-N-O-P-Q-R-S-T-U-V. And so if you take the direct iteration of censoring with a C spelled correctly, the S directly iterates to a T, producing the word centering. And so what is centrality? Centrality is centering. So now we never ever in our whole lives ever have to think of the word centrality with a C ever again. It has been linguistically exhausted what that word means directly chronologically, right? T comes after S in this consolidation of information, the English alphabet, that I didn't pick, you didn't pick. People have come along and said, hey, we're going to represent our sounds with letters, and there's chronology to it. And we've produced that naturally. So censorality with a C is conceptually completely centering, right? When I sat down and I centered my body positioning to the center of the camera. Centrality with a C completely is centering, alignment, orientation. And so, that's a direct iteration. That's as poignant as it gets, but it's not the complete reduction. And so now, the other kind of big conceptual mapping is from rhythm to algorithm. Again, it's a linguistic acknowledgement of similarity. We have the sound rhythm, direct physical principle, a cycle that does work, clear working definition, and then algorithm, right? Metabolism, algorithm, direct iteration of logarithm, But what is the unique functionality of algorithms? What you conceptually mean when you say, big tech has algorithms, YouTube has an algorithm, right? What are you saying functionally? You're saying automation, right? Algorithms, for a unique functional progression, automate. Algorithmicality is automationality. And I'm almost certain we've derived that theorem before, but again, realizing the implications of the conceptualization. What does that mean? What do algorithms do exclusively? Whatever that word means is automation. And that's unique. But algorithms automate. Sensorality, the spelling with reality, is automality. And so then sensorality with the sensor reality is centrality. So that's a natural definition now, because sensorality with a C is centering, and then we've just, again, connected that to our other word form. So again, we're getting to this linguistic reduction in which we will produce the next complete logical structure for the next axiomatic derivation and the quality of the proof. In the same way we can say my microwave's not a sensor with an S, it produces that level of awareness of what this next iteration will be. And so sensorality, the one that spells out reality, and again, on a personal level, I'm pretty naturally using both the A-L-I-T-Y spelling and then the R-E-A-L-I-T-Y, but it's the linguistic reduction. We just need our concepts in the right place, and then the actual demonstration of the letters is trivial, as we just did with sensorality with a C. But sensoriality is centrality. And now we can ask the question, how does reality center sensorality? And so it's not the poignant reduction, but that is, we have got to be imminently close. And so that's our big conceptualization, kind of like logical renormalization, and from rhythm to algorithm. Algorithms automate uniquely, that's what the function is. And in sensorality, censoring, the spelling part, again, you probably, I don't even know how to spell my name. But sensorality with the C is spelled with the E, the direct iteration of the E letter, and then the S iterates directly to the T, centering. Sensorality is centrality, or centrality, but centrality. And that's kind of this overarching logic for what is the center of the universe? There isn't one, right? It's all generally relative. We're just showing complete internal consistency of language, because linguistics is physics. So that is the big steps, and then back to the derivation steps that I had previously to that. Derivation is sequential. Deviation deviation is differentiation. Right? If something changes, it deviates. Differentiation is sequential. Sensorality is consequentiality. Sensorality sets. Sensorality resets. Chronology cannot reset. You cannot reverse the universe. You cannot go back in time. Time travel does not exist. Sensorality cannot. OMG, I just can't. Again, highlighting the usage of this logic that we're deriving. What is dichotomy to geometry? Right, all of our directions, forward and backwards. Does it even make sense with this fundamental stability of two to talk about with one thing without its opposite? Is geometry dichotomistic? Again, personally pointing out dichotomy to dichotomistic. I do that instinctually, inherently, immediately, but it produces that. It doesn't feel like dichotomality would be the direct generalization of dichotomy. But then I say dichotomistic as this analytical function representation thing. But to me, pretty interchangeable. Sensorality is monisticality, just dichotomonistic monisticality. Sensorality is monasteriality, like a monastery. Sensorality, and here that's where I went to the sensoriality, but again, through my own handwritten writing, I'm bouncing around pretty trivially. The concepts is what matters, and then the linguistics reduces. Sensorality is existentiality. Reality is existential, right? An existential crisis. I think I have that, yeah. What is an existential crisis to an ulterior motive, right? Ulterior is existential. Reality is existential outside. Catch me existentially. right? Catch me outside or catch me existentially. But when someone says they have an existential crisis or an ulterior motive, like the conceptualization is it's like out there again. It's like somewhere out there. It's not in you. Again, just pointing out the logic. Sensorality is presidentiality. Sensorality is luxurious. Sensorality is luxuriosity. Luxurious is lavish. Luxurious is opulent. Is arithmetic geometric? Sensorality is geometriality. Just again, so now again, reality, like geometriality, the R-I-A-L, which again is an extremely common last name in Spanish. And so just like we have John Bays and then we have somebody Real, it's just this big logical structure preserved in names, which by the way, Sean Carroll, you notice anything about your name, Sean? S-E-A-N, looking like the geometric relationships like ease or easy? Yep. Dumbass. Sensorality is metriality. And so generally, that like when do you put that I-A-L-I-T-Y as opposed to the ality? It should be a trivial generalization. I do it instinctually, but you have a ton of examples. Shouldn't be complicated. Sensorality is matrimoniosity. Matrimony is marriage. Marriage is a union. Sensorality is mariality. Consumption is absorption. Sensorality consumes. Obsession consumes. Consumption is digestion. Digestion is absorption. Let me digest that. And again, emphasizing the DI, dimension, delusion, or I guess that's an E. Whenever you need to think of examples, they always just go away. But digestion, that DI prefixing stands out linguistically, meaning on a personal level, when I look at the word, it's like, huh. In the same way you see easy, then I point out the logic that it's ease and just replace with the Y. You're like, oh yeah. But sensorality is digestion, dimension. Digestion, gestation. Incubation is gestation. Gestation, ingest. And so emphasizing the gestation to ingest, iterating the G to the J or the je to the J. Behavior, gestures. Again, behaviors, is that an undercover French word? Is behavior an undercover Macron? Emmanuel? Emmanuel. Are you sneaking more secret French words into our words? Voir, behavior. Behavior, gestures. Is an expression a gesture? What is expression to equation? Specifically math, equation, you're stating identity, right? We're showing that all of language is a differentiation, and we're rooting it back to this fundamental stability of two, sensorality, then we find its natural inversion, opposition, something. We're not done yet. And then that, again, sensorality with a C is completely gone now. Sensorality with an S, our Sensorality spelling, which is our working definition, axiomatic definition, is centering, centrality, centrality, holistically, completely. But we're not done. We have to reduce everything. But what is an expression to an equation? So then if an equation is an identity statement, what is an expression? Right? From rhythm to algorithm. There's no verb, there's no is. I didn't say algorithm is rhythm. I just said from rhythm to algorithm. Right? We have this base rhythm, and then we go from algorithm, which is now automation entirely and uniquely. Right? How sensorality centers automation in just stuffing our words together. But we just have to get our concepts in the right area. This felt like a huge progression. But clearly we're going from rhythm to algorithm, and we're like, this whole process is like circular-ish, right? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. It's like all of the times previously in this derivation where I'm like, we're almost done. Like we're just refining all of these definitions to a point where they're definite. They're completely conclusive. But that is the completion of sensorality with a C. An expression to an equation. Equation is. It is what it is. Expression is not that. What is speculation to anticipation? Centrality speculates. So those were the finalizing derivation steps I did yesterday and this morning before, and I just go walking, and I'm realizing stuff all day, but again, the overall big analytical tools are already finalized. And so it's just going through this process of analysis to refining our definition. But centrality is centrality, centrality. Centrality centers automation. That's connecting our algorithm to centrality. Just continuing our derivation. This is again, all of the steps are huge. My rights continue to be violated to the people doing this to me. Just put my money in my bank account. I don't even want publication. It would matter so much more to me on a personal level with my life and my life experience if you just put a lot of money that's mine. It's my fucking money. I'm not even asking for it, but I don't even know what to appeal to. The law doesn't matter. Morals don't matter. Profound historical shame doesn't matter. You guys are just too pathetic and insulated from the consequences of your actions to care. But my life has been fucking hell. Just put my money in my fucking bank account. Of course we won't, because America's a fucking shithole. That is what I have for now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.